town office on March 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. This meeting is being held on Treaty 6 territory in the homeland of the Métis. We extend our gratitude to those who came before us and have called this ancestral land home for generations. We respect and honor the treaties, reaffirm our relationships with one another, and move forward together in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. Call to order at 7 p.m. That the agenda for the March 23rd, 2026 meeting be approved as amended or presented and attached to form part of the said minutes. Councillor Blair. Michelle, anything to add?
Not from administration.
Council, anything to add? Okay. All those in favor? It's carried. Declaration of conflict of interest.
15.1 bylaw utility rates, because I am a landlord in town with multiple rental properties.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, if we missed it, just let us know when we get there. That the minutes of the March 9th, 2026 regular meeting of council be approved as presented. Councillor Vic. Everybody's had a chance to review those minutes. Do you see any errors or omissions? Okay, all those in favor? It's carried. That the RCMP report for the month of February 2026 be received and filed. Councillor Stewart. And with that, we'll open it up.
Perfect. We'll guys go on with the stats because I mean every month, but I sent one that looked like this here last month. If everybody did get it, that's one I kind of want to just focus on. Somebody in Regina actually did this, so it's a lot better than the stats that I can ever provide because that's their full job. The ones I kind of want to highlight are the person's offenses, the property offenses, and then down on the non-offense code. So for persons offenses from 2021 to 2025, there was a 7% reduction. Our property crime did go up by 7%, but it's pretty close with the increase of population and transient people. So not a huge influx. The one where we did see a big increase is where at the very bottom it says non-offense codes. So that means that's files that it's not a criminal code in nature, but we still have to deal with it anyways. Your mental health acts, your just false alarms, your assistance other agencies went up 28%. So that's not anything criminal. It's just stuff that we still have to deal with went up, quite significantly, which is where a lot of our time went over the last so many years. Increase for that. As far as the stats for the month of February, it is gone through the colder months, so we did see a little bit of a turn down with the warmer weather coming up and the summer coming up. I do see an influx of calls coming in, but there's significant resources in place for that. So as far as the other day, if none of you did notice, we did have the marshal's vehicles driving around town. So what that was is they're kind of up and running now, and they're coming up to assist us with apprehension of arrest warrants. I think at one point the province had over 7,000 arrest warrants for individuals that failed to appear in court or were released and never went back to court. So they were out here doing compliance checks, and again, compliance checks are for curfews and alcohol conditions and that, just to assist us because that's their mandate. They were able to get a couple guys on our warrants, and I think one or two that were located here for warrants for another jurisdiction. They are also able to do several compliance checks, which they actually didn't get no breaches because everybody was at home obeying compliance checks. As far as the detachment, we've really seen an uptake in my guys doing compliance checks in the last month. I think we're up to about probably over 100 this month alone, and very few breaches, which means people are listening, or they're scared that we're going to come check on them now, so they are listening, which is what we want. If they're at home, they're not causing any problems. So I did also send, so our fiscal year is coming to an end this March 31st. So what I will do for the next stats, or the next report I do send out, is it will be a stats for the entire year for Nipawin only. So just so your constituents, so you can go say, this is what we see in Nipawin for the entire year. For the entire 2025, 26 year. And I should get that to about mid-April. A little more time consuming because I have 17 other stakeholders. So it takes a little while to get all the numbers through. And it being my year end, there's lots of stuff I'm trying to tidy up. With the year end coming, I close what's called our detachment action plan. And what that is it's basically what we plan on doing from this year. And I can provide something that will show what our goals were for this year. And if we met those goals, and if we didn't meet the goals, the reason why we met those goals. I'm also getting ready to do the 2026-27 detachment action plan. And I believe I sent a letter regarding that to everybody. This year, it's mostly the same thing almost every year. And that's what the community I found looking for is making sure that property crime stays down, making sure that our prolific offenders stay either listening to the rules or they can go to jail, getting into the schools, getting into talking to you guys with my stakeholders. So what I also like to do is, this is what I foresee, but I like to reach out to all my stakeholders and say, is there anything else that falls within our mandate that you guys think is an issue, and we can take a look at that and see if there's some way I can put it into the detachment action plan, so that we can deal with the issues that maybe we don't know about, but several people, you guys have heard from your constituents that there is an issue that needs to be addressed. So sometimes I get up into, there's this problem, like, well, that falls outside of our mandate. I had one in one of the towns I was, the wait times at the hospital, that doesn't fall into our mandate. There's not much the police can do about that. But there is some stuff that we can address. So if you guys don't have any thoughts now what the issue is, by all means email me, and I can definitely, or if you have any ideas now, I'm open to hear them.
Any thoughts, questions, comments tonight? I know we did receive that email. We've had some brief discussions, and I think you guys outlined very well what your mandate, what you're looking for in the next year, expecting.
Yeah,
So,
and
alliance.
to be honest, it doesn't change usually from community to community. You get some places down in southern Saskatchewan that doesn't have a higher crime rate. Well, it's going to be different to Pelican Arrows or Stony Rapids than Regina or whatever. But for the most part, I see making sure that we interact with the community and with the youth, especially in the schools. Making sure we keep our prolific offenders at check, which reduces our property crime and reduces our violent crime also, which has been working with the violent crime as it's gone down, but we did see the uptake in the property crime, and that could be one of two things. One, there could be more, or two, we've been reaching out trying to get people to report more so that we know where we're at and we can ask for the resources. One of the reasons with the resources is I sent a list of all the marshals a list of the marshals of these are the people that we have on warrant that we just haven't had time to go locate. And they were able to come out and at least check and make attempts for us. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Again,
If anybody has any other questions.
All right. Well, thanks again, and I'm sure we'll be in touch here soon with potentially an update if we have any. And
perfect. And again, if anything comes to light, again, just shoot me a quick email. I'm usually fairly quick on responding to them. So,
all right. Have a good evening.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right. If there's no other questions or comments, then all those in favor? That's carried. That the draft financial statements for the period ending February 28, 2026 be approved as presented. Councilor Stewart. Michelle, is there anything?
Nothing outstanding that I found as I
Okay.
created them, but if anybody has any questions.
Any questions at all? Okay, all those in favor? It's carried. That the financial reports for March 23rd, 2026 be approved as presented. Councillor Vic. And anything outstanding to kind of highlight?
Not on our end to highlights, just regular bill payments.
Any questions or comments from council? Okay, all those in favor? That's carried. That the reports of senior administrative officials reported as items 9.1 to 9.2.8 be received and filed. Councilor Bass. All those in favor? That's carried. That the department monthly reports be received and filed. Blair. And with that, we'll start with community services and Derek.
I don't really have anything to add. The group homes and Pine View have been in lockdown off and on for quite some time, so paratransit's been hit and miss on the amount of rides they have, so it's just a heads up, I guess. But it's staying down and running. Pine View's locked down right now and they don't know for how long.
Any questions or comments for Derek? Go ahead, Jeff.
Got the app, it's working pretty good. I think that that'll be a good thing when we can roll that out. Really big. So
Needs pictures.
Actually, one thing that I was thinking about with the app today was we have the town of Nipawin app, but the tourism side is, to me, like, would be a flashier. But 2 apps would be a little much, potentially. Just tie them together somehow. Any other questions or comments for Derek? I'll maybe just put you on the spot one more time, just for what was your kind of key takeaway coming to the budget?
It's interesting to see how the two sides are against each other. It's probably the part that, like, you could definitely see that there's some discord and dislike even, which you know what I mean? I just never pictured it to be quite that noticeable.
Yeah.
The budget, it's kind of discouraging that there's nothing rural really outside of the municipal revenue sharing and what they get for healthcare.
Yeah.
But I think then the next day probably would have been a better day to go watch when they get into the debate of everything. Would have been interesting to see, but yeah, it was an experience for sure. And
Excellent. All right, thank you, Derek. Next up, operations and engineering, Jamie.
Yeah, so just a couple highlights. The scale will be operational on the 30th, so next Monday. We're gonna start rolling people across here in the next, probably tomorrow and the next day for the rest of the week, just to make sure we iron out some of the bugs. But everything seems to be working fairly well. And there'll be a hazardous waste day in May. They're just gonna give me the final date here later this week, and then the advertising will be put out. And we'll have it, and that's at no cost for the town. That will be covered by Product Care. So, yeah, I'll let you know in the next report what day, and
Excellent.
lots of stuff posted about it.
Any questions or comments, Jeff?
will that be at the landfill or is that at the?
Yeah, it'll be at the landfill, and I'll send an invitation out to all the partners too, to
Take that back.
come out.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead, Les.
What's the limitation to the scale? Like what does it weigh? Like, and number two, are you gonna offer it for commercial, like for trucks to come and weigh and check their loads and things like that, or?
Well, we probably could. It's I think 80 ton, 80 or 100 ton.
80 or 100 ton?
Yeah.
A little bit more revenue there.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Well, that's something we can for sure look into.
Any way we can make a little extra money,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and I don't know if they'll accommodate super bees, I don't know how long you are, but
100 feet.
you're 100 feet, that's an order.
Excellent. Just a comment, myself, I've seen your guys are out working real hard clearing, drains and stuff all over town,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we're having some issues with lard right now. In the south end of town,
Yeah,
like a lot.
end of town.
Lard?
Yeah, in our sewer
I
mains.
thought you said God.
No.
From the deep fryers.
Yeah, we had fought hard today. The guys were working all day today. They're one of our mains, so 12 inches of lard
Oh,
in
really?
our main.
On the south of the town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
over
it's up
by
from all the
East Pleasant
restaurants.
View.
East Pleasant View.
Yeah, over in that area.
Seriously,
Yeah.
That's not
I was
restaurants.
thinking of a commercial place, actually.
Well, we're investigating, so I don't want to say anything, but
Yeah.
might be coming from a place on top of the hill. But we'll see.
I was just gonna say, there's a nasty big hole at the, station corner there.
Mhm.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
highways department.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think you might
Yeah,
get
what
the
do you we'll
complaint.
clean it. Yeah, I know
It's big.
it appeared last year and they come and fixed it and then
Okay.
it looks like with this frost, wet frost, everything's popping. It's
But
like the
even a
worst case
semi-tire would
scenario.
probably
Yeah,
be damaged. It's that
it's
big.
very, very hard in asphalt.
all right, thank you, Jamie. The last one is protective services and Paul.
Not too much. Obviously, a lot of time spent this last month and the last couple weeks with snow removal, complaints around snow removal, people parking on the streets, etc., trying to stay on top of all of that. On the animal control side, we're a little bit lower with our total licenses sold so far this year. Not too far off, but a little discouraging. Was kind of hoping by dropping the prices, we were going to see a little bit of an uptick. So we've talked to community services to try and play that up a little bit. I kind of hope that everyone was watching the budget deliberations and everything really, really closely, so we wouldn't have had to have advertised it, but it doesn't seem to have been the thing. So we'll get out there, get the word out a little bit better. So see if we can improve that. And other than that, I guess just like everyone else, we're just suffering through the continued snowfall.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions or comments? All right. If there's no other comments, all those in favor? It's carried. This next bit, obviously, there isn't a resolution, but it's on here just for discussion of the municipal revenue sharing. Just an information report from Michelle.
Yep, it's just information that we should have an increase of about $120,000 in revenue sharing this year. And that comes from the provincial sales tax. It's equivalent to 0.75 of 1 point of the provincial sales tax. Gets distributed amongst the municipalities. And so our increase this year should be about $120,000 once they've got it all calculated and sorted out. So that was good news from the budget.
Thank you, Michelle. And I think in the past, what we typically do is we wait until money's in hand, and then we decide how to allocate it, whether we just hold it to help.
We get it in quarterly installments. So it'll probably be at the end of the year unless council wants to reopen the budget or do something with it.
Right.
Then, or you would allocate it at the end of the year as surplus.
I think we'll probably hold off a little bit before having that discussion, maybe at the next meeting.
Probably be a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. The council hereby approves the list of lands in arrears dated March 19th, 2026, containing those properties with property tax arrears as of December 31st, 2025, and that any property tax arrears of $500 or less shall be excluded from the tax enforcement process at this time, and that administration be authorized to advertise the list of lands in arrears and carry out such duties as provided for in the Tax Enforcement Act. Councillor Bass. And this is pretty straightforward.
It is. I can just point out that the dollar values this year are significantly higher than they have been in the past. There's some larger commercial properties that haven't paid yet. Quite often they will pay. We're anticipating they will pay right away quick, and we wouldn't have to register a lien. It gets advertised. They get advertised for 60 days. And then after that point, then we would register the liens. I just noted that we had 91 properties on the list this year. And in the past few years, there's been 50 and 65, 80. The closest was in 2022 when we had 90 properties. So it's unusual for the last 2 or 3 years, but we have had this many registered in the past. It's just quite a high amount this year.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I was just gonna comment that they're quite high.
Yeah,
Very high.
that was the
yeah.
one thing I noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing else, all those in favor? That's carried. The council hereby authorizes administration to submit application to acquire title to the property located at Lot 3, Block 1, Plan AT 493, Extension 0, title number 154613729, and to commence all necessary actions in accordance with current legislation as recommended by the CAO, and that all outstanding accounts be transferred to the tax roll. Councillor Hall. And Michelle, did you want to?
This is just another property that has moved its way through the tax enforcement process, and we haven't received payments. So this would be the next step.
Yeah. Any questions or comments?
It says here the property was sold in 21, so the town had it before.
No,
Oh.
yeah, it was purchased by the current owner,
Oh, in
and
21.
no payments have been made since then.
That's frustrating. Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby accepts the proposal from FV Pearlot and Son Limited for the supply and lease of a 2026 Massey Ferguson MF 4710 utility tractor for the Leisure Services Department as recommended by the GM of Leisure Services, and that the town enter into a lease agreement with financing at 5.94% as provided in the proposal submitted through RFP 2026-01- supply and lease of tractor, and that administration be authorized to negotiate lease terms to not exceed the 2026 capital budget. Councillor Vic. And Chelsea.
Thank you. So we issued an RFP for the utility tractor that is included in the 2026 budget. This tractor is mostly used for maintenance and including grass cutting in our bigger areas throughout town and just on the outskirts of town. So it has the mower that was purchased in a previous year that will attach directly to this tractor. When we went through the capital budget, we discussed leasing the tractor, and that is the resolution that you have in front of you. The tractor did come in quite a bit less than what was anticipated than what we had as a quote when we went through budget. So an alternate recommendation that council may consider, if they're happy going with FV Pearlot, would be to consider purchasing the tractor outright this year And taking the additional cost that isn't budgeted for, so we have 45,000 in budget, there would be remaining about 40,000 to come from the 10-year machinery reserve this year. Once the grader is purchased this year, that would quite deplete that reserve, but we would pay back in 2027 budget the 40,000 back in. So by doing it that way, you would save some interest. So that's an option for council to consider. If that makes
Any questions or comments for Chelsea?
So, if we were to get a loan from the bank, what would the interest rate be?
I think it'd be around that 5.94. Because I'm quite sure that's who they were dealing with.
And you're talking about a 3-year lease?
Yes,
So
we would,
that's 93, almost 94,000.
so it'd be about 8,500 that you would save in interest. But I know that there's some concern about depleting the 10-year machinery reserve. We would pay that back, however, in 2027.
I don't know, I say we buy it outright, say they save the $8,500, but we don't have to take it from that reserve, we can take it from stabilization reserve. That one's already pretty low and we already have plans on how to build it back up, and then we just pay back into the state reserve, that way it doesn't throw that reserve into anything else. That'd be, we're using the reserves properly, because we have a whole process about how to use the 10-year. And I'd like to stick to it, so I would use the stability reserve. Do we have enough in that one?
The 10-year machinery.
No, the stabilization.
Yes, we do. The 10-year machinery reserve for a purchase under $100,000, we have in the policy, it's that we would save half of the funds and then borrow the rest from the machinery reserve to be paid back over the next couple of years. So it would be using the reserve the way it's meant to be used. And if something else came up, we could take that from the stabilization reserve at that time. This would be using the reserve the way it's
Intended.
the way it's intended.
The way I feel, but I feel like the 10-year should be a budgeted item, but just because that reserve has been depleted over the years, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't been doing it.
But 45,000 has been budgeted for expenditure, whether it's a lease or a purchase.
Yeah.
So you're talking 40,000 plus tax, right?
Plus PS.
Plus, yes,
So, yeah. Either way.
I like the idea of purchasing it outright, for sure. I think it would make a little more sense. I know we, like Jeff said, it does deplete that reserve significantly here right now. But at least if something came up, we still have the stabilization reserve. Whereas if we pull it out of the stabilization reserve and an equipment issue comes up,
We can still go to the stabilization reserve. It doesn't matter.
I guess it works out, but
I can see it coming out of the stabilization reserve, actually.
Yeah.
Because then with that windfall that we had with PST, you can replace it at that
Absolutely.
point.
yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Yeah, that's
So already, 3 of us have kind of talked about buying it outright. So we're already looking at changing our resolution. How does everybody else feel?
It's a good idea.
Okay, Les?
Is this replacement or an addition?
this will be replacement.
So the old one will be
Go to auction. Go to auction.
go to auction,
Yeah.
so there's revenue there potentially.
And your thoughts, Les, on
Oh, yeah, I was saying the $8,500, I was saying the interest.
everybody else? Kylie? Yeah? Okay. So we'll have to,
So there is the resolution on number 1 on alternative resolutions or recommendations. You just wouldn't wanna take it from the 10-year machinery reserve, then you'd take from stabilization,
Yes.
if that's what council wishes.
So I'm just gonna make a note on
Yeah,
here.
just put alternate.
Has, Fairlawn indicated a potential value for that other truck?
No, no, but I didn't ask. So it gets a lot of hours on it. It's about like 1,400 hours per season on it. It's
It's
used.
easy hours though, it would be an awesome increase tractor.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, like it's
It's front-wheel system, isn't it?
Yeah.
Front-wheel system.
Nothing to do.
Yep.
Okay.
We've had clutch issues with it. Quite a bit.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, on the mower you would, yeah.
But we just put a brand new clutch in it.
Yeah.
This spring.
Okay, so I've got a couple of notes here. So the first part of the resolution is gonna stay the same. We will not enter into the lease agreement, but we will go with alternate recommendation number 1. And the only change to that will be instead of the 10-year machinery reserve, we will use the stabilization.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Yes.
Stacy, this is on yours, so.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I just have one quick one, actually. How does this compare? We bought a tractor last year.
Mhm.
Is this similar?
No, way
Smaller.
These
Oh, okay.
smaller.
So I can't, like that one can't turn like this one turns. It's way smaller than,
I don't know much about tractors.
That's a lower tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right. If there's no other questions, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby approves the replacement of the wheelchair platform lift at the Centennial Arena in the amount of $49,700 plus PST from Access 2000 Elevator and Lift Inc. as recommended by the GM of Leisure Services. And that funding be allocated from the Arena Capital Budget number 461720820 as approved in the 2026 capital budget. And that council waive the applicable provisions within the town's procurement policy in this instance due to the specialized nature of the elevator equipment, compatibility requirements with the existing lift system, and the need to utilize an authorized supplier and installer. Councillor Watts. And Chelsea.
thank you. So this elevator lift is at the Centennial Arena. It actually has been causing us quite a bit of issues as of the past year and a bit. It does break down quite frequently and is required in our facility that is a 2-story facility. So we are recommending to waive the procurement policy as Access 2000 were the original contractors that installed this lift years ago. And have always provided service to that lift. Their service has always been good, and it's a specific lift, so we would like to keep. It's more of a remod than a full take out and reinstall. So we will have some components that stay within it. So it makes more sense to stay with them.
Thank you, Chelsea. Any questions or comments?
Just a question. It said that the current one that's kind of outlived its serviceable life. How long did that one last for? Like, is this a really, really old one? Like, do they have generally a 10-year life expectancy then,
Yes.
like before they start needing to replace it?
Was installed before the 2010 renovation.
It was before my time here,
Yeah.
be
Oh,
20
so
plus
it's like-
years.
So it's lasted a long time.
Yeah.
Cause they only have a 2-year warranty on it, so I just like,
Right.
it's like fairly.
No, it's
Okay.
I should have looked into that, but no, it's been
Okay.
a long.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby approves the updated Central Park land use agreement between the town of Nipawin and the Nipawin Exhibition Association replacing the previous agreement executed in 2016 as recommended by the GM of Leisure Services, and that council authorize the mayor and chief administrative officer to execute the agreement on behalf of the town of Nipawin. Councillor Bass. And Chelsea.
Thank you. So you will see in the report a chart that lists or outlines any updates that we are proposing. We did have a meeting with the Exhibition Association, so they are in favor of all of these recommendations. Nothing too significant. We are increasing the insurance from 2 million to 5 million as per most of our agreements. One item that kind of caught me off guard was that if we deem a building or structure unsafe or unfit or in disrepair, it may be torn down or removed at the town's expense. So that's the item that we updated just to reflect that it wouldn't be at the town's expense. So a couple updates like that. Other than that, this agreement would be proposed to go for the 10-year period.
Thank you, Chelsea. Any questions or comments? Pretty simple updates there. All right, if there's none, all those in favor? That's carried. That council hereby authorizes administration to obtain further costing and professional review, including consultation with AODBT Architecture and Interior Design for Phase 1 mechanical upgrades at the Evergreen Center based on rehabilitation of the existing boiler heat system, in addition to the previously proposed forced air conversion prior to finalizing the Phase 1 scope of work. Councillor Blair. And Chelsea, you're busy today.
Yeah, sorry. This will be my last one, the most controversial one. I'll start by saying that this report, hopefully you're able to read it. We did have a contractor come in because we had some smell of gas at the facility. He did do some repairs of the rooftop units. Those are working and doing much better now. While he was there, though, we had some boiler issues with the facility, and he had an opportunity to look at those for us. You will recall quite a few years ago, we RFP'd or attempted to send out an RFP for replacement of the boiler twice and did not get any interest in that. So when we went through the process of the feasibility study, with AODBT and their engineers, the feasibility study stated that either doing boiler heat or forced air system were the options that we had for that facility. Then when we did our phased approach, when we realized we weren't going to get the grant, we started with Phase 1. And because we weren't able to secure a boiler contractor and hadn't found anybody that really wanted any interest in that system, we decided to go that forced air route. Fast forward to having the rooftop units looked at and now the boiler looked at, we have a contractor that is interested in the boiler system at the Evergreen. Through a few phone calls, we do understand that that is the best option for heating a facility the size of the Evergreen Center, is to do a boiler system. With not doing the full project at this time, a forced air system is quite more invasive. You are ripping out a lot more and adding in a lot more. When talking with Inline Plumbing and Heating, he does feel that that system definitely needs to be flushed out, cleaned out, and he has quite a few pictures of very full lines of a lot of black tar stuff. That once that system's flushed out, the boiler would need to be replaced, but that he feels like that's the best system for the facility. He has brought in a couple other professionals and they feel the same. They do feel like it would be a waste, I guess, to get rid of that boiler system. So I wanted to bring this back to council just to inform them of where we're at with that process and how we got to the discussion about the boiler again. Is simply because we've been really cold up to date. And it was -40 when we started having heating issues and there was no heat in the front foyer. So he came in and actually was able to fix it and has it running quite good. And then he's quite eager, so he kept flushing out lines and we said, whoa, we need to see what our next steps are with this process. He did email me today to flush out the entire system and get the lines assessed and looked at, which he does feel like they're in okay condition, would be around 15,000. That would not include, obviously, a boiler replacement. Boiler would be on top of that. So that's where we are with that. I know it says to obtain further costing and professional review. More just wanted to reach out to AODBT and tell them that, well, we're actually thinking of going a boiler route, and does that still fit with all the rest of the phases? Which I don't see why it wouldn't, because it did initially.
Thank you, Chelsea. We've gone full circle.
Somewhat, yes. And I like, this is a positive update. It's not I don't see this costing us actually more money. I think forced air does cost more money. But it brings us back.
I think the forced air was probably part of their design. It fit the big picture, what they were trying to accomplish. Did they have inline have a timeline on a boiler? How far away are they?
They want to start flushing lines now. The boiler would be installed this summer to be ready for fall.
What makes sense to me.
Jeff?
I'd like to have known where these guys were 3 years ago.
He actually explains that in his email.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't here 3 years ago.
Yeah, because
So they actually live out at Tobin Lake. He
okay.
has worked in the industry since 2010 and is very familiar with boilers. So that does make me more comfortable knowing that. That would be his specialty is boilers. And he has brought in a couple other professionals to look at the system as well.
Just probably just a stupid question, but does the boiler system have anything to do with the air conditioning, or is that a totally separate thing?
Those will be the rooftop units.
So totally separate thing.
Yeah.
Les?
So I guess going forward or thinking forward, if inline proceeds, they should probably have some type of a maintenance program as well,
Yes, and that's what we would like to set up with them.
so that this doesn't happen again.
Exactly, yeah. So we would like to, and they're very interested in that as well. We would like to set up a maintenance program where they, whatever's recommended for flushing the lines, do that. And I don't want to, AODBT did everything that we asked them to do with the phasing and things like that. We weren't able to find a boiler contractor, so we started looking at different options. When they first did the feasibility study, you'll see on the list, it has like boiler replacement for forced air system. And then just when we couldn't find a boiler contractor, we kind of pivoted and went with forced air system.
Is there any change in utility costs between the two systems?
I think forced air might be more expensive, actually.
Go ahead, Jeff.
much as it makes me want to scream because of all the runaround, and that's just me, you guys must be in worse shape. I think we should repair the boiler. If it's just gonna be repairing the existing boiler, we shouldn't have to get all new. like designs and everything for it. We're just replacing and revamping what's already there and replacing the boilers, so we shouldn't need a entire new schematic or anything for that, so that would save a lot of money. I think we go with the boilers. This guy can do it. Can you teach some local guys how to fix it too? Cause that way we can have some maintenance,
Yeah.
just thinking out loud,
Yeah.
because that'd be great.
Actually, he has talked quite a bit with our maintenance staff there, and, they've been working quite closely with his next, so I think he'll be involved.
Sounds like it took us quite a while to get here, but we've got a good option coming forward.
Costs us some money to get here.
Yeah, I think it's a positive step forward. I would love to see us work on the boiler system. I think that that would be a good option. Yeah, less invasive for sure for the facility.
And it also gets it done this year, by the sounds of it, and that's really, you know, I don't want another winter with that.
No, exactly. Okay. Any last questions or comments?
I guess, if council is okay with going that way, I'm curious if you'd consider doing a recommendation, to hire inline to do the $15,000 flush of the system.
You'd like to add that to this
If I
resolution?
could, that would be good. And then you can get rid of the, well, no, yeah, just have to.
Is it a new resolution or?
We could add it to this one, provided, Les is okay with it.
So do we have any history on inline plumbing and heating?
We do, and I can do more of a
Or
background check
references
for sure.
or anything like that?
I can do more of a reference check.
Like, there was nobody around 3 years ago, and then now all of a sudden they're here.
Right.
Are they, what's their level of experience?
So he's been working with boilers since 2010. So that would be what, in the city, and then they just moved back.
He would require a steam.
Yes.
Whatever you ticket, right?
Yeah.
He has to be qualified.
Yeah, I don't know what class anymore, but
Yeah.
I remember there was different classes for steam.
I don't know, I feel more comfortable with some references or
Sure.
a track record.
What's that?
We're getting in the mud if we're, if council's
Yeah,
gonna
that's what we're
require,
doing.
Yeah.
if we're gonna require references and things like that. We gotta-
Not like officially, you know what I mean?
Well, I think Chelsea mentioned she's done work with them already,
Yeah, they did the rooftop units.
so, I mean,
They're working.
I think the biggest thing is that, like, anybody that you're gonna hire at a major facility, they have to be able to prove that they have their own workers' compensation, that they're licensed, that they took out a permit. And that, then I feel that's protecting the town and, right, like, that's where I feel like we have to make sure that we're protecting the town for getting a worker in, but, I mean, she's worked with them before.
We'll get a
And they
copy.
seem to obviously do a good job from what you said, you got it going and he feels confident with it. So I think flushing the lines is a good start, for sure.
and just like Jeff mentioned here, like we go and enter into contracts with all of them, so.
Yeah.
We'll be covered with everything. So do we wanna do a separate resolution? Okay, so let's finish this one off, so this is to, just move forward with the next steps. All those in favor? Opposed?
No,
Or-
no.
Oh, I just didn't see your hand go up. So. Okay, so that is carried.
Chris.
You wanna grab me a blank sheet? I'm gonna let you write this, Michelle, you're gonna be much more legible. So this resolution will be around hiring, what was the name of the company?
Inline, IN line, plumbing and heating. For a quoted cost of 15,000.
Sorry, be engaged.
We don't actually have a quote or anything
Two.
from them, do we?
I do.
Okay.
Through email, yeah,
Plus applicable taxes.
yeah, it would be.
To evaluate the,
To flush lines and evaluate the system.
system. Evergreen. Of 15, no,
Thousand. Yeah.
$15,000.
That can come from the budgeted money we have. But
Yes, you bet.
Taxes. You can read my writing.
All right, I'll read this one out. That inline plumbing and heating be engaged to flush lines and evaluate the boiler system at the Evergreen Center at a cost of $15,000 plus applicable taxes. Councillor Stewart. So any last questions or comments on this? Go ahead,
Does
Les.
this flush not happen when we do the boiler? The boiler's not far away, can I do all that at once and save that 15,000, like that should,
Oh,
Probably
it will
part of
still
the
cost
install.
that. No, no, they need to flush the lines. It would still cost that. Plus the boiler install.
Because the lines right now are.
They're
broken,
full, yeah.
And they're trying to avoid replacing a line, but the boiler's a separate. unit. That's just-
Yeah, like the boiler, like he explained it, Ryan explained it to me, the boiler's like the heart, your heart, right?
Mhm.
All of the lines are the veins that go through it, and all of them are plugged.
They need stents.
They ain't going to need bypass graft. Maybe a prayer or two.
But the
Yeah.
is, you're gonna be able to get a better budget when it comes to the boiler, because he's gonna know that all the lines are good. If we don't do this, it could be quoted and that quote goes up because they run into things. This'll, I think, prepare us more.
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
That'll actually give us an idea of what needs to be replaced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like we do know that there's a rat that needs to be replaced at the back door, but like a $3,500.
How much money do we have total for the renovations for this year?
542.
100,000. Yeah, so there's, if this comes in well under that, then we can,
Well, even if we're replacing lines, and actually that anticipated, really, because once they clean,
yeah,
it's like anything else.
From the Evergreen.
However, you wanna have all the lines clean before you set up that new boiler,
Mhm.
otherwise it's gonna plug it up too, so.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I think we're still gonna be a way further ahead if we have to replace some lines,
Mhm.
rather than doing the other.
so the other one's gonna be, structure is gonna be a nightmare, putting those vents around everything, air return vents, everything.
The lines will be easier to remove because they're clean.
Great,
And when you put it under pressure, you'll see the leaks too.
yeah,
and I
Yeah,
thought that
well,
would
in a
be
couple,
one
but,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Just adding,
No, we're not at.
oh, we're not adding?
you know that.
Okay.
Sorry.
To the capital.
Sorry.
All right, so $15,000 plus applicable taxes. Any last questions? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. That council hereby agrees to purchase a new half-ton truck from Twin Motors in the amount of $55,861.45 plus GST, as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering, with funds to come from GL account Public Works Capital 431310820. Councillor Vic. And Jamie.
Yeah, so I requested an RFP from our two local dealerships. I received them back on March 13th at 1 o'clock. Nipper and Chrysler Dodge, they don't make a single cab long box anymore. So you'd have to get a 3/4 ton. So I just said to them, just give me a quote on a half-ton crew cab, the best you can do, right? So that's what their price is 63,571 plus GST, but Twin Motors was actually a couple $100 cheaper than the last truck we bought from them 2 years ago, so that's good. But yeah, there's $65,000 allocated in the capital budget, and this one's gonna be 55,861 and 45 cents plus plus GST, so slightly under.
Thank you, Jamie. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? And that's carried. That council hereby approves the transition to utilizing cashless payments at the landfill, with all transactions to be completed using debit or credit payments as recommended by the GM of Operations and Engineering. Councillor Blair. And Jamie.
So yeah, so currently we have debit, credit, and also a charge account there at the landfill. We don't get much cash, very, very rarely, and it's a bit of a hassle. Getting change all the time, because we only run $100 float. And I'm just thinking that when you're passing cash out the window and how windy it gets there, that if it gets out of their hand, now it's blowing across the yard, we gotta try to catch it. Yeah, and then, it's just, and for the $100 that we have out there, if somebody comes and breaks in and smashes the window for $100, and it's just, I'd just like to get rid of it. I feel that we don't need it nowadays, cash.
Okay.
But that's up to you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yep.
Joyce.
When I noticed, when I was doing the Barwa books, he's right, there's hardly any cash and it's more trouble than what it's worth.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions or comments?
Just for the people that, like, there's a lot of people I know that don't carry debit cards, like an older generation, they keep cash on them. So they go out there, no longer accept cash. They don't have a debit card. Is this charge account you talk of? Anybody is acceptable to charge on there or how?
Yeah, like, we go through it and
Okay.
set up an account and then,
Do
they
they
get
get
billed,
billed?
they get billed every month.
Okay,
Yeah, at the beginning of the month, we send bills out.
because I just feel there could be like older generations that go out there and are like, I've been coming here for 50 years and I've always paid cash, and now you're telling me I can't pay cash. Like, there has to be an alternative option for them then, that they will understand that it's like acceptable to cash,
Mhm.
right? So,
There isn't too many people now. Well, I
well,
don't
there's a
think.
few I can think of off the top
Oh,
of my head,
really?
that I would,
Yeah.
just because they're like old
Yeah.
school cash
Yeah.
guys, right? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are against cashless in general.
Yeah.
So I think that we just need to make sure that we're offering something else that is not just debit and credit card.
Yeah,
options.
they'll have to set up a charge account.
Okay, but it's an easy process for
They
anybody to
just
do
come
that.
and get their information and then I do all the invoices at the end of each month and hand them to Laura, and then she bills.
Okay,
So we can
Those
do that.
people that are paying cash for garbage probably used to getting rid of the garbage for free.
Yeah.
Any-
Those were the days.
Those were the days, yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this one? Okay, all those in favor? That's carried. That the report of committees and boards recorded as item 11.1 be received and filed. Councillor Vic. All those in favor? It's carried. That council hereby nominates Mayor Zacharias as the voting director on the Northeast Area Transportation Planning Committee Executive Working Committee. Councillor Stewart. So this is the NEAT PC meetings that I attend periodically, and they're up for election this year. The outgoing chair has actually asked me to run, and I've been contemplating it already, just in terms of the way that the committee works, and being able to, maybe provide a little more insight from the Nipawin area. That was my reason for doing this. It is a paid position. It is not paid very well, but expenses are covered for me attending those meetings. The additional meetings that would be held would be paid by NEAT PC as well. So, any questions or comments for me?
Is it something you wanna do?
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right. then.
So. Okay, if there's no questions or comments, all those in favor? It's carried. Thanks for all the extra work.
Well, I asked.
You asked for it.
Yeah.
Okay, down to new business. That in order to accommodate the 2026 annual SUMA convention, council hereby agrees to cancel the regular meeting of council being held on April 13th, 2026, or reschedule the regular meeting of council from April 13th, 2026 to, I've got a blank for another date. Who'd like to put it on the table? Councilor Stewart. Okay, so yeah, so our next council meeting is technically gonna fall during SUMA. At SUMA, myself and Lex will be gone, Michelle will be gone, Derek and Chelsea, I believe, are both gone. Jamie, you're gone for that day. So it's gonna be,
I'll be here.
Paul can run the meeting. Yeah, so we just feel that it might be, just make more sense to cancel the meeting. That was the discussion that I had with Michelle. There's a few other, like in the summer and during the holidays and things like that, we do run on a single meeting for a month, so it's not like it's a huge.
It's a
Change.
short month, so just
Yeah.
having the one meeting on the 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we moved it a week ahead, it would be the Tuesday after the Easter weekend, and that would be David's first meeting, or first day here. If we moved it down a week, that would be 1 week before the next regularly scheduled
Mhm.
Yeah.
meeting, so.
And if anything comes up that we absolutely have to get around the table, then we can schedule a special council meeting in there as well. So we have a few options for anything that comes up in an emergency situation or something. So,
I'm already canceling.
pardon me?
I'm good with canceling it, and then obviously we communicate if there's a need to get together prior,
Yeah,
but I feel that it's fine.
okay. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, administration's fine with it, if they got all their bills paid. and-
So the resolution will be to cancel the meeting, will not be to reschedule. All those in favor? That's carried. Well, this is the first time I have to say it this way, Michelle. That Chief Administrative Officer David Gillen be authorized as signing authority for all Town of Nipawin business, including all online and digital banking business with the Prosperity Credit Union and RBC Visa and CRA, Service Canada, and Saskatchewan Electronic Tax Systems accounts effective April 7th, 2026. Councilor Blair. So this is just to get them on the signing paperwork ahead of time.
Yep.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? That's carried. That CAO David Gillen and blank be authorized to attend the 2026 SAMA annual meeting being held on April 22nd, 2026 in Saskatoon, with mileage and out-of-pocket expenses reimbursed in accordance with the current policy. And that, I've got two blanks here, be appointed as a Town of Nipawin's voting delegates. So let's get it on the floor. Councilor Rahalik. Okay, so there's a few blanks to fill in. Is anybody else interested in going to the SAMA annual meeting?
I can just note we are
It's an
allowed to
April.
have up to 2 voting delegates at the meeting.
Sorry, Joyce?
It's in April.
It's in Nipawin? No.
No, it's in April.
April.
Yeah.
I'm not in.
Oh, you're not coming?
No.
Okay,
April 22nd.
would the two people attending be able to do the voting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I assume we'll just likely
Yes.
do it that way.
I believe they have to be in in person
in person
to vote.
Yeah,
Well, probably the mayor would be a good choice, maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
I just thought I would give opportunity. If nobody else is really interested, I go to a few meetings a year. Jeff looks really excited to go.
It's April. I'd say it was May and June and July.
Okay, if nobody's interested, I will attend it, that's fine. Okay, I will pencil myself in.
And they can both be voting delegates.
Do you get two
Yes.
votes then?
What's that?
I said, do you get two votes?
I don't, but I can sway the other
Oh,
There you go.
one.
does David get a vote?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if there's no other questions, nobody else wants to volunteer, all those in favor? That's carried. Fun. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, here comes another one. That Mayor Marlon Zacharias, CAO David Gillen, and blank be hereby authorized to attend the FCM Annual Conference and Trade Show being held in Edmonton, Alberta on June 4th to 7th, 2026, with mileage and out-of-pocket expenses reimbursed in accordance with the current policy. Councillor Stewart. Okay, we haven't actually attended a FCM conference in a few years, from what I
I don't
understand.
even remember anybody's ever went. A long time.
Mayor Harper did once, I believe,
Yeah.
Was there,
in my recent recollection.
was there value added to it? That's the only question I'd have.
It,
That
so
time.
FCM is comparable to SUMA, but more on it's a federal group.
Yeah.
FCM also has their own grants that we could potentially be looking for, so it would be a good opportunity to meet with the people writing those grants, things like that. In terms of David going, it's part of his contract
Mhm.
that we send him.
So yes,
But it makes more sense to have somebody assisting.
And I can just mention that speaking with David about it, he will ensure that he checks the agenda and what's happening at the conference and ensure that there is value to us going. This is just to have the approval before, while the early bird registration is still on, but he said he will absolutely make sure that there's value in attending.
it's in his contract if he goes. Right?
Yeah,
That was something that he mentioned, that he wanted
Yes.
to.
Yep.
yeah,
And we already signed that, so there we go.
so,
Yep.
and there is that spot for another person to join us.
Mhm.
So,
It's June.
That's seventh, that won't work.
You're going, right?
yeah, I would go.
I could be available. I think that's important because there's gonna be lots of federal people there that we need to rub elbows with, so I can be available if nobody else wants to go.
I will put Les's name in if there's nobody else.
Yeah, that's
Good.
Okay. If there's no other questions or comments, all those in favor? That's carried.
Once again, have fun.
Looks like there's lunch, so that should
Should be
be.
lunch, that's.
Long drive for lunch.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one, we don't have a resolution on, but just wanted to briefly have a discussion on it because of the resolutions coming, just to make sure everybody has reviewed them and have thoughts on any in particular that stand out. We will be voting on them during the conference at SUMA, so. Anybody have anything to comment on? I believe they start on page 23.
I think I had read them before, so.
I'll mention just two of them that really stood out for me. The very first one, 2026-01 is regional cost sharing. So this is surrounding the recreation facility fees being regional. Obviously, we've been having that discussion around this table a little bit, so SUMA is going to start advocating, provided this passes, of course, which I imagine it will. The other one that I was interested in was 2026-04, enhanced municipal revenue tools. And specifically the parts where it talked about bringing back compensation for collecting the education portion of the property tax. So we used to get a little bit of funding to collect that, and then they went away from it a number of years ago. And then the second part of that one was removing the PST from construction projects in the municipality, which, save us thousands of dollars. So those are a couple that stood out that I know I'll be paying attention to.
They all look pretty good, actually.
Yeah, actually, it's gonna be a pretty strong year for resolutions. Sumo will be busy.
Random question, just because I forget, I don't know if you remember, but when we're doing this distance voting, like you and Lisa did, do we get an email link?
They will send you an email link,
Okay.
yes.
I just couldn't remember how it worked last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
You may have to download the app.
Okay.
when it
Yeah, for
comes.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make you re-download the app
Yep.
each year. So. Okay, well, we'll go on from that. If you have any thoughts between now and SUMA that you'd like to just email out to those of us who will be voting, let us know. Okay, that bylaw number 1211/26, being a bylaw to fix rates to be charged for the use and consumption by way of rent or service charge for the use of sewer facilities, be introduced and read a first time. Councillor Vic. And I will pass it over to Michelle.
Sure, this bylaw was actually passed here earlier this year. And the change at that point in time was to require that all utility accounts remain in the property owner's name. Subsequent to that, we had the Saskatchewan Health Authority reach out to us to request that an exemption from paying the meter deposit. They are in favor and agreeable to collecting the bill payment from their tenants and submitting it to the Saskatchewan Housing Corporation, I'm sorry.
Can I just stop you and say 1 second, because we're gonna talk about the housing corporation. I'm gonna declare conflict on that. My wife is chair of the housing authority board.
Okay.
So, okay. Yeah. If we're actually gonna debate whether that's gonna happen, I don't want anything to do with it.
Thank you for letting us know.
Now, before, no debate, that's where we're going.
So the Saskatchewan Housing Corporation is a crown corporation, it's backed by provincial dollars. And it would be, they have over 50 units here in town, so they would have it would be about a $10,000 deposit that would just sit in our coffers, that their funds are backed by the province, so they would be pretty sure that a low risk for not paying the bill or for damage to a meter. So when we discussed it at the Operations Standing Committee, I was requested to reach out to people and just ensure that we have the proper wording. So section 1.1 would exempt the housing corporation. But there's an agreement that is attached, so they would sign the agreement that they would be responsible for any damages or bills. It doesn't just totally say, no, you don't have to pay the deposit. They would have an agreement for that. And we also reached out to SMB because our rates are part of our utility bill. The Saskatchewan Municipal Board local government committee has to approve, and I received approval in principle. So once this bylaw is passed, we would send it to the SMB and receive approval from them. And then the housing authority would enter into an agreement with us, and they would be exempt from paying that meter deposit. But only the Saskatchewan Housing Corporation, because they are a provincial entity.
Any questions or comments?
And we had discussed at the meeting, that would mean every housing authority in every community could end up being in the same boat.
They could, yes.
that was one of their big concerns, that they had other communities watching. And they could have had to come up with, what did they say, 9,000 units? At, $200, it's almost $2 million out of their budget. And it just sits in bank accounts.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Any thoughts? Okay, all those in favor? It's carried. That bylaw number 1211/26 be read a second time. Councillor Watts. Give it a peruse, think about it a bit more. Any other ideas or thoughts? Okay, all those in favor? It's carried. That bylaw number 1211/26 be given 3 readings at this meeting. Councillor Blair. All those in favor? That's carried. That bylaw number 1211/26 being a bylaw to fix rates to be charged for the use and consumption by way of rent or service charge for the use of sewer facilities be read a third time and finally adopted. Councillor Fast. This is your last opportunity. Take a brief read. Any other questions pop into your mind? Okay, all those in favor? It's carried. Go back. All right, we are on to the round table. Today we'll start with Les.
Okay. It's been fairly quiet the last couple of weeks. Did get a chance to go to Regina to the Saskatchewan Budget Day. And met with a whole bunch of other Saskatchewan politicians and friends, and Marlon asked what I took out of it, and it's interesting to see how government works. And like Derek said, there is some headbutting, I guess, for the lack to be polite. But it was an interesting experience, and that's what I took out of it. But other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot more, except for the weather was +12 in Regina, and there was no snow that day, and it was cold here. But that's about it for me.
Thank you. We'll go the other direction. Kylie.
I haven't had any meetings since the last time we were here. I was supposed to have the executive meeting for the library board in Prince Albert on Saturday, but it got canceled because most people were traveling and the roads weren't good. So it's gonna be postponed to a different date. I don't know when. And besides that, last 2 weeks, I've just been working and renovating and painting, and but I'm officially done the house renovation, so I can relax for a little bit now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Lisa?
I had the chance to attend PACT International Women's Day event a couple of weeks ago, hosted by WESC, Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan at Generation Center. The room was packed. WESC supports women who are starting and growing businesses across Saskatchewan. So it was just a good reminder of the kind of support that's available to women entrepreneurs in our community. I attended a Nipawin Museum meeting that was unfortunately held the same night as the Wapiti meeting, so I missed that one, and unfortunately the Wapiti meeting didn't have quorum, so that was unfortunate. The museum will be showcasing their Ford Model T at the upcoming Lions Trade Fair in April. They want to get some eyes on them and hopefully help drum up some volunteers and bring more attention to the projects that they've got on the go. And lastly, I wanted to recognize Wapiti Valley Ski and Snowboard Resort and Wapiti Valley Regional Park for being named back-to-back Melbeck's Business of the Year winners in the 16 employees and over category. They were up against some stiff competition, so it was a meaningful win and a reflection of the work that the board and the staff do, and the level of experience that the Hill provides to our community. And that's it.
Thank you very much. And Joyce?
I attended the Twin Lakes meeting by Zoom and tax. That's about it.
Thanks. And Jeff?
I also attended the Twin Lakes, I was here. Not tax, I haven't got those done. But, yeah, the, all wound up, all the, the finances for the heliport, so in the end, there is two $20,000 checks, because when we raised all the money, we said if there's money left over, it would be split between two good foundations. The Nipawin Regional Health Foundation and STARS, right? So, because we don't want any of the money left. And so they'll each be receiving checks for $20,000. So that's kind of nice. So we just gotta, sign up and do a picture or something. That's from all the donors and everything. And there'll be a donor wall, but it won't be what you guys think, where you have all the little brass plaques. It's gonna be virtual, we're hoping. So you'll be able to take a QR code and then you'll be able to go to something and be able to see all the donors and all the different things.
You might get on our app, right?
Well, you can get on their app. So that was, it's really exciting to have that project and all the money and everything completely done, so. That's it.
All right, well, on March 11th, I had the Airport Advisory Committee. We at one of the previous meetings, we went down to 2 meetings a year, so this was our first one. And really, there wasn't lots on the agenda. It was mostly talk about some potential tree removal, but the trees are not on the property. So then there was also some discussion, and we'll probably have somebody from the town reach out next year for the grass runway and seeing if the snowmobile club will run their groomer on it to pack it down, which would allow that extra runway if needed. So just something that came up that would potentially involve a donation to cover their costs of doing it at least. But just something that was discussed briefly as well. After that, on the 11th, I had the landfill advisory meeting, and it was the third consecutive meeting where we have not had quorum. So more than a little bit of frustration from myself and a couple of members who did come. So we'll have to address that with that advisory committee, because it's not working if people aren't coming, and if you're not coming, maybe we don't have it. I know it was part of the Barwa agreement when it was when the town took over, but it's really not working. So something that we'll have to communicate with them about. On March 12th, I was in Alfred for the Suncrest program. There were $7,500 in scholarships presented as well. So that was excellent. There were some brief discussions about Nipawin maybe hosting some presentations and graduations in the next year. The last 2 years, they've both been in Melbourne. So it's time to bring it to Nipawin. We've got a Suncrest College here too, and great facilities to show off. So, and they were open to that, so we'll talk about that in the coming months. And as you already heard, on March 18th, provincial budget. So I was with Derek and Les, spent some time with our MLA, Terry Brome, and a couple of things that obviously Derek's report covered quite a bit of it, but I'll just comment on the 8.5% increase in revenue sharing again. That is very important for municipalities, not just ours, but for everybody. And just another one, it doesn't sound like a lot. It really isn't a lot, but the community rink affordability grant was confirmed in the budget, so that doubled. So for Nipawin, I think that's 3 rinks with an additional $7,500. So a little bit here and there. And actually personally, I got out for the first ride on the sled trails this year on Sunday, finally. Took a little while, but it was sure nice to get out. It was my first time seeing the fire damage up north. And it's pretty devastating when you're riding through it and seeing all the damage that was done last year. So, and Stacy.
Well, my meeting comes up on Wednesday, so, and we'll meet the new golf pro, or he'll be officially on the board, or on the, in the pros position. Derek is officially retired. And not tax, but snow. For me. And that's it.
Excellent. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention, and it's just kind of a comment on some of the things tonight at the meeting. First, thank you guys all for putting on your Hawks gear and helping support the Hawks as they push on into the playoffs. They're 1-1 after the first two, and I know they're going to continue to push. And I think they're going to win both of the away games. So, the other thing I'll just comment on is the amount of money that was saved in this meeting. $8,500 by buying outright, $5,300, I believe, on one of the other projects,
$10,000 on their budget.
and $9,000 on the truck. So thank you to our administration team for working hard to save us money every week. So, and that finishes the roundtable. The public forum, we do have one member in the gallery. Welcome.
I have enough confidence to talk now. I had to come to a couple meetings.
Okay.
So my
Before
name
we
is
start,
Andrea Curry,
thank
and
you.
I own Andrea's on Main Street. So I just had a quick question, and I probably could have directed this at Jamie when I talked to him earlier, but who's in charge of the snow removal at the lights on the sidewalks?
Well,
Is that the town or the businesses?
I'll maybe let Jamie, if
Sorry, I should have asked you.
you probably have the answer to that.
Well, kind of. So the town, the only time the town cleans its sidewalks downtown is when we do the whole downtown area.
Yeah.
If you take a look at Credit Union, they do their corner.
Yeah.
The Royal Bank or the Scotia Bank does theirs. The BMO used to do that one until they left. And then Pink Sugar has never done theirs as far as I know.
Yes, so I am really spoiled and I really appreciate everything that's done uptown because I'm so close to the lights. But I was wondering if there could be a discussion about some fine of businesses not cleaning. Because I pay insurance for slip and fall outside, which encompasses my sidewalk, and that costs me $864 a year. So it's not fair that the two on the sides of me are not cleaning. I did contact you earlier, and the one was done beside me, that used to be the old Computer Solutions, but BMO has not at all. So that's all I wanted to say.
And I passed it on
Yes,
as well. And
I'm
we're
sure
still
you
in
did, but I
discussions.
just wanted to bring up, a discussion about.
Yep.
I don't know if there's you can implement fine or anything.
So, generally, when it comes to those kinds of things, what we would do is we would have a contractor come in and clean it, and then that gets applied to the taxes.
Perfect.
So it's
And
not
is
even a
there-
fine, it's because it's public safety, we wanna make sure we get the job done.
Yep.
And then they have, as long as the order has been put in place, they have, an amount of time where they can, to take care of it. So it is good to know that the one business did take care of it, I know that they were contacted,
They did.
yeah, so. I
So
can
is
tell you
it
that
like 3 strikes and then?
No, it's not a 3 strikes, there's a time frame,
Okay,
and then once that time frame is up, we go in and clean up.
okay, so then you'll be watching that, or is it up to due diligence of other business, like should
Oh,
I
no,
be
that's-
calling?
We know about it.
Well, I know you do
Yeah.
now, but
Yeah.
going forward, if they still own
Absolutely,
the
yeah,
building
that's,
next year.
we encourage anytime, call bylaw, call myself for anything like that.
Okay.
We wanna definitely know about it. We try and stay on top of all of these things if we can, but.
No, I
if there's anything
understand,
we
it's
can-
definitely small peanuts. compared
Oh,
to
no, yeah, no, that's small peanuts, they all add up.
Removal and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, and you can contact me as well and then
Yes.
I'll pass it on as well.
Yes, well, I just feel bad for you because I've called you probably 6 times.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm gonna bring it up here. Okay, that was my question. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrea. Okay, at this point, we would be moving in camera, but Michelle and I spoke, neither of us have anything. Does anybody have any discussions for the in-camera portion?
No, just to have it come to go home.
Okay, so, today we will just skip over that. And we will adjourn, so that we do now adjourn at 8:30 PM. Councilor Rowe. All those in favor?